Hi everyone, Christina here. Welcome to another card video at YouTube and my blog. Today I'm going to be creating a Get Well card. I was looking through my card stash and realized I had no Get Well cards and I needed one. So I've taken this kind of older stamp set from Paper Smooches called Healthy Vibes, and I'm going to be creating a Get Well card today. I'm starting out with some watercolor paper. This is 140-pound cold pressed watercolor paper from Strathmore. Cut it down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm going to be stamping and embossing the bandage and also the Feel Better Soon sentiment from the stamp set. So in order for the embossing powder to not stick to areas where I don't want it, I did prep that watercolor paper with my EK Success powder tool, and then I'm stamping the image and sentiment in Versamark ink. Now, a lot of you have asked why you would need to use a powder tool before you emboss, and it's purely because it really dries out the paper. It kind of prevents the embossing powder from sticking to areas where you don't want it to. So if you just want a really clean embossed image, I really recommend trying out a powder tool or a powder bag. I'm using some gold embossing powder from WOW. This is the rich pale gold color, and I just sprinkled that over my cardstock and then used that coffee filter and just funneled it back into the jar. I'm using my heat tool to melt this just until it's smooth. I don't want to melt it too much because as I do some watercoloring on top, I'm going to be heating the paper some more, and I don't want it to sink into that watercolor paper too much. So I've got my white laminated cardstock off to the side as my palette. I've also had a few questions about that. This is just a half sheet of letter cardstock, and I just ran it through my laminating machine, and it just gives a nice slick surface to use with distress inks. So I'm using 3 different colors of distress ink, or actually 4 different colors. The first color I'm going to be using is Temple Glass and Peacock Feathers. I'm going to use 2 colors, and I'm wetting down the area around the bandage because I want some nice soft color going all the way around it. So I'm really adding lots of water to everywhere except on the bandage. I don't want the color to go into the bandage. So the first color I'm using is Temple Glass. And I started out with this little paintbrush and adding a little bit of color, and then I realized it was not adding enough color to really get the colors moving. So then I picked up a larger brush and brought that in. So I'm going to mix a little bit of Peacock Feathers into that Temple Glass because it wasn't dark enough for me. And now I'll start putting the color on. And this is when it starts to really get a lot of color onto the watercolor paper. So I'm going to go around that area because I want to make sure the color goes all the way up to the edge of that bandage. And I really just want to make it kind of almost like a sky feel to it. Just want to be really light and bright and really smooth texture. So I'm just adding a bunch of color, and as soon as I have the color on there where I want it, I'm going to grab my heat tool and just start heating this up. And I'm not going to sop up any of those water puddles. I'm just going to let them sit there and dry. I really want a smooth color transition with all of these colors. And you'll see right here when after I finish drying, everything's really smooth. So now I'm coming in with just some water. There's no color on my brush, it's just water. And I'm adding some more little water spots on here so that I can add color and the color really moves around. So this is going to add a little bit of a harsher edge because that edge of where the water is going to collect a bunch of color. And it's just going to give it a little bit of a different look. It's going to add more interest to it. This is a great way to add a little bit more texture to your backgrounds when you don't want to introduce new colors. You can just layer the same color on top of each other and it'll give it a nice finished look. So then I dried this, and you can see it really gives those kind of harsh edges along those colors. I think it looks really, really neat. It's a very watercolored look, and I think it looks real nice. So just as every other card that I've done with distress inks, I am going to be adding more water on top of this, but I'm going to paint the bandage first because I want that kind of water droplet texture to also be on the bandage. So now I'm using some pumice stone ink, and I only added water to the bandage and not on the heart. I'm going to have the heart be a different color. So I just added some pumice stone onto that bandage, and then I'm going to put water on the heart and then bring over some Festive Berries ink. And this is going to be a really bright, nice red color. I just thought it was so cute to have that heart be red. You could do any color you want. I think a yellow heart would be really, really cute on this as well, but I just went with Festive Berries. So I hit that with my heat tool, helping it to dry. And then, like I said before, I'm going to add water droplets to this because I just can't help myself. I love doing these water droplets on Distress ink watercolor backgrounds because it just adds the most beautiful texture, and I just can't help myself. I have to do it. So I let that sit for about 30 seconds and kind of wiggled it around to get that water moving, and then picked it up with a paper towel. I was really careful to make sure that after I picked up red, the bulk of that red right there, I moved the paper towel because I didn't want any of that red color to transfer to other areas. So I'll hit that with my heat tool once more to dry. And then I'm going to add some gold ink splotches or gold watercolor splotches. So I have this gold color that's in my Kuretake Zig Gansai Tambi watercolor palette. It's a really long name, but it's basically just a gold watercolor. And I got lots of that on this flat brush, and then I'm just using my finger to flick some of that gold paint onto my project here. Hit that with my heat tool just to help things dry a little bit. And then I brought in a clear Wink of Stella glitter brush pen. I added some shimmer to that heart in the center of the bandage just to give it a little bit of interest since everything else had a lot going on. And then I took some glossy accents and added that to the heart. Now, I'm not sure why I did this before I put it on the card base, but that's what I did. I just decided to go ahead and put the glossy accents on. And because that glossy accents was on there, I couldn't really put it on the card base and press down on it or anything. So I needed to let it dry for quite some time. So I peeled it off the board here and then let it dry overnight. And in fact, I let this dry a couple days. I didn't come back to it for a while. So now I've got a different nail polish color on. So here's the new color. This is a couple days later, and I've just trimmed down that watercolor piece to be about 4 inches wide by 5 1/4 tall. And I prepped my card base with a top folding card. And then I used some Tombow Extreme adhesive to glue that watercolor piece onto the center of the card base. This is an A2 card, so it's 4 1/4 wide by 5 1/2 tall. And this is actually 110-pound Neenah Solar White cardstock. So that's that card. I wanted to show you this other card that I did first before I did the watercoloring. Just a really, really simple get well card. And I wanted to show both of them to you because I thought both were really, really nice. And the one on the left was so easy to do. You could duplicate that over and over. So that's the card for today. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I have a couple more Get Well cards for you. In fact, that first video actually uses the exact same stamp set that I used in today's video. So if you want to check that out, if you want to pick up that stamp set, you have a couple ideas for what to do. You can also check out that last video on the right. That's a Thinking of You card, but I thought it would also kind of work for a Get Well card. If you wanted to do a Thinking of You and it could have multiple purposes. So if you want to see any of these videos, click on those images and it will take you directly to those videos. If you're on a mobile device or a phone, the links are down in the video description. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.